Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 133 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we're talking about debt and our financial health and well-being. Debt is one of my favorite. I have kind of a love-hate relationship with debt due to my past and due to other people's past and how easy it is to get involved with bad debt versus good debt. Now, good debt is just debt, right? It's just a tool to create the things that we want in our life, to get the things that we want in our life. But it's defined as good or bad by us based on our intention, our motives, and the type of debt that we use and how we apply that debt. Debt applied to gain income generating assets or to enhance our future in some way, I consider good debt. So for example, a lot of people think student loan debt's bad. I think student loan debt, if you're getting a degree in something that will cause you to increase your earning potential, which if you're coming out of high school, probably almost anything you do will increase your earning potential, I think that's good debt. Anything we invest in ourselves, in our education, in our skills and our abilities, in becoming a better human being, to me, falls under the category of good debt, because my intention is to create a better future for myself. Bad debt, on the other hand, is things like credit card debt, buying things that, and using credit cards, which are usually high interest, and we'll talk about the difference between these in a minute, but they're usually high interest, short payment period, and designed to give us that quick dopamine fix of getting what we want right now, but causing us a lot more pain and stress and anxiety in the future, because we immediately get the satisfaction of the thing that we want, only to find out that we're paying for it for a very long time, and that really we're not even paying for it. We're paying for the interest on the thing that we had to have immediately. So debt, a lot of people have negative connotations with it. I think debt is a tool, and I've learned over the decades to use it wisely. Doesn't mean I always did, right? Sometimes there were short-term problems or challenges that we weren't prepared for that we used short-term debt for. But I know a lot of people that I love and care about, that have gotten in way over their heads in bad debt, or debt they thought they needed because they weren't prepared with emergency funds and safety nets and insurance and things like that. So good debt enhances our future. Bad debt tends to have like crazy high interest rates. Think credit card debt. Credit card debt, I don't even know what it is right now. I personally am not using a credit card for hardly anything in my life. I used to use it to get a whole bunch of Sky Miles, but I paid it off every single month. I used it in my business because it was a great way to crank up the miles, but then I made sure that we paid it off every single month, so we weren't spending an absorbent amount of interest expenses just to have something that we had to buy and had to pay for anyway. So a topic for another day. Benefits of good debt, of course, are it helps us build credit history, it helps us to build wealth, and it helps us to, well, it often carries lower interest rates, right? Think of your mortgage. Now, your mortgage, if you're buying a property that you know is going to appreciate over time, or it has a very high likelihood of appreciating over time, I consider that good debt, right? You got to live somewhere. You might as well be gaining equity in something that you own versus paying rent. This is, of course, my humble opinion. There are entities out there right now, I call them evil, trying to change the American dream and make it almost impossible for young people to buy houses now. There are billion-dollar companies that are traded on the stock exchange that are going out and buying up all the property in all the small towns in America, or not all, but a lot of, and then turning around and turning those into really high rental fees. And I just heard about it last week in my small town, in a neighborhood I grew up in till I was 8. They've done that with a lot of the properties there, and it kind of breaks your heart, because there's, you know, a couple of generations of young people that should own their own home and have be building toward their future, not just making, you know, Wall Street companies rich. I'm pontificating. Let's keep talking about debt. Bad debt, on the other hand, tends to be, think credit card debt. I've never had one, but a payday loan or a personal loan for consumption. Some people will get a home equity line of credit on their house, and they'll buy a toy, or, you know, snowmobiles, boats, toys, things that don't really appreciate in value, and they'll find themselves with a lot more stress and anxiety because they're paying off interest for literally decades on something, or for a decade on something that's almost all interest, and they've long since worn out the thing that they bought in the first place. Let's talk about a couple of people's debt situation so we can really delineate and differentiate for ourselves what is good debt, what is bad debt, because you get to decide and define what that means for you. Angela is a strategic borrower. She took out $45,000 in student loan debt to help her earn a master's degree in data science. Now, she already had her undergraduate degree and those loans paid off, but she decided she was going to get her master's, and then she went out, found herself another job that paid $30,000 more a year, and instead of increasing her lifestyle since she made more money, the first thing she did was she paid off those student loans. She lived as if she hadn't gotten a raise of $30,000 a year and just paid off her student loans and set herself up for success in the future, where she could live frugally because she chose to, and then invest that excess income that she would have been paying in interest in investments for herself. Marcus, on the other hand, got trapped in a cycle of bad debt. Marcus started using credit cards in college to maintain a flashy lifestyle, eating out frequently, and then buying designer clothes and upgrading electronics on a regular basis. He's one of those early adopters. He had to have the latest, greatest technology at all times, but he didn't have the money, so he put it on credit cards. He made only the minimum payments on those credit cards, accumulating $22,000 worth of credit card debt. With interest over 20%, he was barely making the minimum payments, and his balance barely decreased every single month because he was so far behind and the interest rates were so high. The impact, his credit score dropped significantly, which affected his ability to get approved for a car loan at a reasonable rate. The stress of the debt caused mental and emotional strain. Marcus eventually enrolled in a debt consolidation program and started budgeting, but it took years to actually recover and get out of debt. I got another story, but I'll share that with Supersize Your Business people. So what do? How do you handle debt for better financial health? For you personally, for you as a parent, for you to set a good example for other people in your family. You might come from a family that had a horrible track record with how they, managed debt and lived their life. And the truth is, when you look around, you can't tell if people are really, really rich or if they're really, really living off of a whole lot of debt and it's built on a house of cards. So I'll share a quick 5-step process so that you can make sure that you are controlling your debt in your life situation and your life choices. Number 1, know your debt profile. By this, I mean, what are my outstanding balances? What's the interest rate? What's the monthly payment? And when's the due date? Why do you want to know all those things? So you make sure that you never miss a payment, or you always get your payment in there on time. Because if you don't, guess what? There's always exorbitant fees that go along with it, especially if it's credit card debt. Visibility of tracking it helps keep it top of mind so you avoid missed deadlines, and so you make sure that the debt choices you're making are the debt choices that are right for you. Number 2, prioritize high interest debt and pay that off first. I always, when I had credit cards, every month they were the first things to get paid. After, I paid myself first, of course. 3, consolidate when it makes sense. Marcus realized he was in way over his head. He was never going to catch up the way he was doing it. So the best he could do was find some way to consolidate his debt at a lower interest rate to actually get a handle on it. But like I said, it took him years. Should it take you years to pay off $22,000 of debt? Only if it's at a super high interest rate. Number 3, consolidate when it makes sense. Number 4, build a safety net. Before you aggressively pay down high interest debt, you want to make sure that you are covered with insurance, with health insurance, with basic retirement funding, and with an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months if something were to happen. What would have happened if Marcus would have lost his job during that time period? He would have been toast because he didn't have a safety net built. And finally, 5, avoid bad debt in the future. Make choices that make your life better, not that cause you more stress, drama, and trauma in your life. How do you go about doing that? Well, practice intentional spending. I have a hypnosis app that I listen to all the finance stuff when I'm dealing with financial for the month. And so one of the things is to eliminate spending, and I can't remember what it's called. What is it when you shop all the time? Shopaholic spending, but whatever it is. Impulse shopping, to cancel impulse shopping. But I don't do that, so I don't really need that one. But there are tools and things available that can help you if that's something that you need. Create a monthly budget and track your spending. Pay attention to what you spend your money on. Vast majority of people don't, which is why the vast majority of people are in credit card debt. I think it's in the trillions of credit card debt now. I don't keep track of that, but I think as a nation, we are in probably $1 trillion of credit card debt. I don't know. I could be wrong. Avoid credit card spending unless you're going to pay off the balance every single month. Again, strategically, if there's a reward that you get by paying your credit card or by using a credit card, by all means use it. I used it for the travel expenses for my businesses because we could get enough points for everybody to travel because we spent that much money every month. But we also paid it off every month. We knew it was an operating expense. And then we just ran our operating expenses through the credit card so that we could get the points and the bonuses. That's a good use of credit. Build the habit of saving before spending. Save before you spend, save before you spend, save before you spend. If you're going to put aside 10% of your income, put aside 10% of your income before you even ever have it in your checking account or anything. I guarantee that one automation and trick alone will help you to be more responsible with your money and be more financially healthy and sound. All right, that's all I've got today. Any questions about this? Any lessons learned? Anything you want to share with us? Any tips, tricks, or strategies for debt and handling debt, good debt or bad debt? Share it in the comments below so we can all learn from one another. Have an awesome day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye.